Nilianza kutumia alcohol, experimented first nikiwa class 7.
It is true there is an increase of usage of alcohol and drugs among the children, and it is worrying. It should be worrying.
Addiction is a brain disease.
You cannot stop using drugs and alcohol on your own. You must use a certain program that we use, which is universal, and also you must have other people that you walk this journey with.
We need to restore this dignity that has been taken away by addiction, by loving them, embracing them.
I've been brought up in a family of a Christian-based family. Na foundation yangu imekuwa based on Christian values and standards along a rather Christian foundation. I've been ministering in church from age ya kama 6 years. Nilikuwa na minister in music ministry. But along the way I came nikapatana na challenges za alcoholism. Nilianza kutumia alcohol, experimented first nikiwa class 7. I remember being a very shy guy, nikigrow up. Friends wangu walikuwa watu wanatumia. So peer pressure ikanituma kuanza kutumia.
Where kids asking, have you drunk this brandy? My parents are using this brandy. Have you tried? Can you come to our home? I can give you a taste. You know, peer pressure is so strong. And I want to call upon Kenyan citizens, please let us teach our kids life skills, how to be assertive, how to say no, how to make decisions. And let's have family values so that my child knows this is not part of our family. My parents have said no to this kind of friends. So if we teach our children this, since they are small, they will grow knowing that this is who I am. This is the identity of my family. If it's a Christian family, these are the values that we are exhibiting in our family, and nothing should change what I believe as a Christian.
This child who started to drink at a very early age because of the exposure to the environment has a higher chance of developing the problem at a later stage, because it affects how the growth happens, including even the formation of their brains, their emotions, and so forth. Now, environmental factors also, we can talk about stress-related, problems. We know people are suffering through in this country. There are a lot of challenges, financial challenges, families, the violence that happening at our homes and so forth, So when you put all these things together, that is where now you find most of us want to go and seek something to calm us down or give us what we call solitude, to feel that like we are existing, by nature. So the other cause, of course, we talked about inheritance. That means that there's something in the genetic makeup of such people that it directly predisposes them to a mental illness,
Nikikunywa, I become bolder. I'm able to face my fears. Na ikakuwa nikazoea hivyo. So on off ningejipata nakunywa when I'm afraid of something. Ningejipata nakunywa ndio niweze confront your issue.
So when you take that path and push on and push on and push on, it gets to a point now where you develop the tolerance of the drug, So now when you develop the tolerance, that is now where now you resort to developing now what we call an addiction, because the body now becomes hooked, or it becomes dependent on the drug for your happiness, for your functionality, for your pleasure, for you now to be able to interact with people and enjoy, life activities and so forth. Yeah.
Wazazi wangu, it took them a very long time. Hii time yote from ever since we joined high school, hawakuwa realize coming into church. Unajua tulikuwa na vitu kama kesha za Friday and stuff, so nilikuwa na play church na play pia world. So ninge enjoy Maada ama Friday naenda kesha church, kitu kama hiyo. alafu kesha naenda for a period of time maybe 3 hours, alafu natoka naenda labda ngoma. So for them it'll take a while. I can remember from all that period paka nilikuwa third year in college. So ndo I realize. Now I realize because nilikuwa expelled from college.
And what we are doing as Nakada, we have a positive parenting program that has been rolled since 2018, 2019. We have reached many parents through the churches, through schools during Parents' Days, through the media, radio stations, including the vernacular stations, whereby we are talking to parents on their role in parenting and what kind of skills they need to impact on their children so that their children are able to live responsible and healthy life. Teaching our children how to address stress, because many people don't have life skills on how to address stresses, and that's they use alcohol or drugs to suppress their stress. Yet this stress still remains there. So it is our responsibility as parents and adults to learn life skills, to train our kids life skills, to tell them the facts and the realities of life, that sometimes life can make you feel miserable, but using alcohol and drugs does not make things better. So let us teach them alternative ways of addressing their stress, like playing and listening to music, watching cartoons and movies as a family, prayers, you know, fellowshipping together, and just standing with each other as a family is a strong way of helping our children to avoid alcohol and drugs.
I think it's in college, nikiwa second year ndo nikakuwa totally addicted. As in, singeweza kufanya kitu bila kunywa. Waking up in the morning, you have a class, unapitia pub kwanza ndo uingie your class. Third year, my room was just but alcohol. Alafu kawaida when you drift away from zile value systems ambazo God ametuwekelea ama tumebringiwa up in, una realize unaanza kudevelop some other behaviors. Unaanza kuwa mwizi, vitu kama hizo. And over the years in my addiction, I realized nikaanza kuwa marafiki na polisi. Saa zingine home unaanza kufungiwa milango, juu vitu zinapotea. Watu kucharge simu wanachajia kwa mfuko, vitu kama hizo. Anything that inaweza kuletea your next drink unapita nayo. So nimefungwa miaka mob kama nikarau, nikatupwa nje na my family for quite a long time. I've been in and out of rehabs. It's not my first time in rehab. Nimefanya rehab kama 5 hivi. So na pia imenideleshia vitu mob kwa life. There's a lot nime lose in my life kwa sababu ya hiyo addiction. Over time nime realize maybe through my first rehab ilikuwa kwa sababu ya peer pressure. You know, you want to hang out with friends, unataka tu kuparty, you want to feel this life. I remembering that I grew up in a very strict family. Ambayo kuna strong Christian values. So unataka ku experiment what's on the other side of life. Along the way I realized it never really worked the way I thought. Nilikuwa nafikiri in this other world kuna a lot of value. So through my first rehab, I think I was just fighting mainly peer pressure and identity crisis. But down the line, when my addiction grew into another level, I had nilikuwa na issues na family relationships. Na hiyo ndio imenisumbua over the years. This thing of manipulation, hii kitu ya blame game, you know, this didn't happen because my dad didn't do that, and then it creates anger, it creates bitterness. So over the years I realized for the 10 years I was working in addiction, niligundua kwamba hiyo aspect ilikuwa inanisumbua. I had a lot of bitterness towards my father, a lot of bitterness towards my dad, and I think it came around because hiyo time niliambiwa you won't continue with your college hadi wachana na hii tabia ya pombe. So that was the first step, yeah, relationship issues at home. And then I think also one thing that people really don't talk about is that a lot of our families are dysfunctional in a way, and sometimes we concentrate a lot on mama na baba wanafanya nini, mnaingilia vita zao, na saa zingine pia wazazi wanatutupia hizo vita, alafu they weigh us down because we don't really know what to do, and that's another aspect nimeona ilisumbua pia for some time. Na hiyo ndio ilikuwa nafanya anytime maybe nakosana na madhi, or anytime because I was manipulating them for something that I needed for myself, na hawange fulfill, I just go back to the drink. So yeah, that has been me. It took years, from 2008 I can say through 2013 is when I actually admitted I had a problem. Yeah, and that was my first step to recovery. I think that moment, ndio hiyo time nakwambia nilikuwa nimefukuzwa home, nobody was taking care of me. I had to sort myself out, you know. Mtu mwenye come to my help at that time is my big sister, who wasn't in this country actually. Alinilipia rent kama ya 3 months na akanituma nje ya home, akaniambia so rent yako ikisha in this 3 months uanze kujipanga. She gave me a house nini, akalipa, alafu akaniwacha hivyo, akaniambia we don't want you around us. So during that phase of life I stabilized up a bit, but hiyo kitu ya tukufukuza home atukutaki ilikuwa inanisumbua. Nikafikiri niko freedom yangu, so nikaanza kuonja kidogo, alafu this thing came out again. Typical of addiction, kama umewacha ukionja tu moja it takes you miles back. So hiyo ndo phase I think nilikuwa rock bottom kabisa, and I nearly died because me personally nilikuwa na withdrawals mbaya sana. I could hallucinate very badly. Hata wazazi wengine wangefikiri mimi ni cheese. Juu at that time nilikuwa nimezoea sana prescription pills na alcohol na bangi, hizi unasikia watu wanasema unga, tap D, it's a pill unaweza weka kwa tei. So I nearly died that night. Because hiyo time nilikuwa nimeuza nyumba yangu and everything in it. Na nilikuwa naishi ndani ya bar. Nikipanguza napewa 50 bob. Alafu kulikuwa jamaa mwingine wa butchery hapo pia ananipanguza. Saa zingine akishauza nyama yake na ugali kila kitu, ndio saa zingine akupatia zile mabaki unakula. So one day nikapata withdrawals. Alafu pale tu nje I think nilikuwa karibu na kufa. She made contact with my family, with my mother. Hiyo ndo namba pekee nilikuwa nakumbuka kwa kichwa. Juu simu hata nilikuwa nimekula. Unajua? Fast forward, my mother talked to people, wakanisaidia, wakanipeleka hosi. And then I think then my sister wa majuu hiyo mwenye alinilipia kule bado akasema I'm giving you an opportunity to rehab again. Yeah, but by then sikuwa nafikiria naweza fanya rehab tena because ya hizo push and pulls za familia. You know, ila wakati every member in your family anakuambia we've invested a lot in you and you're not making progress. We have families to concentrate on. Unajua vitu kama hizo. Sisi sasa tuko na watoto wa kuangalia, wewe si mtoto tena. Things like that. So yeah, nikapata opportunity ya kuenda rehab, lakini nilikuwa na purpose. Siwezi maliza rehab, nilikuwa nataka tu nipone. Nikishapona from hiyo time liver yangu ilikuwa imeisha kitu kama hizo. Alafu I quit. But then I think that was my season for change. Yeah, hiyo ilikuwa 2013. So 2013 I did 1 year program nikamaliza. Since then I've been sober up until last year when I had a hiccup again. Na nika trip. I had a slip for a couple of months, and that's why I came to Eden. Eden halfway house. I thought siwezi fanya rehab tena because of what I do personally. I just thought to myself about seeking help. I just sometimes ukiwa na bases kama hizo ama foundations kama hizo, along the way you feel you're capable of making it without help. And for a long time, I think, before I came here to Eden, my sister was after me. She told me, Steve, najua unaweza make, but you need support system, which you don't have at home. Najua. And I think she looked around for Eden. And so she asked me, would you do rehab again, or would you rather do the halfway? Because for you, I think it's just but space and work on yourself. So I thought over it, and saa zingine pride inakam, unajua. But nilikuwa beaten at that time. So nilikuja Eden in August, Eden halfway house.
So you would find that many people come out of rehab, they go back to the same environment, and then they relapse, yeah? Because they go back to the same living arrangements. They probably had no support because, you know, recovery from addiction needs ongoing support, you know. There was no probably support. There was going back to the same friends, the same environment. So relapse was very common. Especially in this country, it was very high. So we decided to set up this, what we call a transitional house or a halfway house, where people would come after rehab and it would help people reintegrate back into society, which also serves as a place where we help people from the community who can't afford treatment. Yeah, we help them with a place to stay and counseling services and reintegration and rehabilitation. And so this primarily where we are today in City Park is for people who cannot afford treatment. Yeah, okay. So that is our way of giving back also to society, because there are very many people, most people in this country can't afford private rehab. So we help people here, yeah, from the community who can't afford these services. So we set this up in 2015. To date, we've helped probably 5,000 people access treatment and its related services. And so I think it has also helped me to stay away from drugs and alcohol. The work that I do today, you know, it's given me a lot of purpose in life. You know, like when I went into rehab, I thought I'd never get married. I thought I'd never have children. I thought I'd never have a family of my own. I also never thought I could function without drugs and alcohol. But luckily, when I went into rehab, I met the right kind of people. I got the right kind of help, and that's what made the difference. I tried to stop severally on my own, yeah, before I went to rehab, and it never worked, yeah. But when I went into rehab, the difference was now being with a group of people you can identify with, yeah, receiving professional support and counseling from professionals. That's what made the difference for me. And what we know today is that you cannot recover from addictions, you cannot stop using drugs and alcohol on your own. You must use a certain program that we use, which is universal, and also you must have other people that you walk this journey with.
We haven't done a survey on the effectiveness of rehabilitation, but from my own experience, I know that rehabilitation is working. We have people who have gone through these programs, and currently they've gone back to their jobs. They have reconciled with their spouses. They are doing wonderful biashara. Some of them are wonderful consultants that consult for the government. So rehabilitation works. Treatment and rehabilitation works. So if there is a myth that it doesn't work, I just want to undo that myth by saying that during recovery, someone can lapse. And lapse here, I mean, you may be tempted one day. It's like just in salvation, people backslide. And those people backslide and want to come back to salvation. That's a lapse. You can't say they have backslid, they have lapsed. But relapse is whereby somebody has been in recovery for some moments and then they go back completely into using. And there is hope for those who have relapsed. Let us follow them up. There is a role of the family, loving these people unconditionally. Please don't keep them away. Don't make them feel like they're not part of the family. Don't use words that stigmatize them. Let them know that regardless of what they are going through, they still belong to this family. They are loved, they are valued. Remember, these are human beings with dignity. We need to restore this dignity that has been taken away by addiction, by loving them, embracing them, and treating them like any other person in the society.
One-on-one sessions have helped me to open up, plus the group sessions. Whenever you go to these meetings and then you open up and you talk about the realities that you've gone through, inakusaidia ku let go a lot of things. Nikikuja Eden House, nilikuwa na a very bad spirit towards my mom. Kwa sababu nilikuwa na feel manipulate sana over the years. Unajua, you've all grown up and you're all grown up and you want to do your things, but here and there unapata ana interfere maybe na vitu zako. Maybe you're doing a project, anataka kuingilia just because you go around her space, and I was very frustrated. But talking to guys down here, imenisaidia to have a good perspective. And in those 3 months nilikuwa Eden, I've been able to bounce back quite speedily. One of the things nimewaambia watu, especially when you reach out maybe to talk to people, nawaambiaga story ya pombe ni struggle too, and I choose to view it as just one of the sins around the world, or around zenye watu tunapambana nazo, kwa sababu kuna mtu mwenye ni mwizi haonekani hadharani akiiba, si ni kweli? Kuna mtu mwenye tunasema ni malaya, hata usiku hakuna mtu atamuona isipokuwa click yake. Hizo zote ni dhambi, sio? Dhambi moja ambayo hii dhambi ya ulevi ama ya drunkenness ni kitu ambayo watu huona. That's why watu wanakuwa judgmental of it quite a lot. Na ni ngumu sana kuficha ulevi ama madawa ya kulevya kama wanatumia madawa ya kulevya. But one thing is, when you get yourself to that point of realizing this is sin and I'm not supposed to be a partaker of this nature of sin, then all you have to do is talk yourself out of it. Na hii kitu it starts with you. Every change starts with you. I like it when Mahatma Gandhi said, not Mahatma, but Mahatma, be the change you want to see in the world. If you want to see yourself sober, start picturing it in your mind. Na hakuna kitu ya kuogopea. Mimi husema hivyo. Kwa sababu siwezi jua wewe unapitia nini. So if you own this problem and decide to deal with it, it becomes cheaper on your end. And if you're a believer, you can go to your knees. People will stay judgmental. Watu watakuwa judgmental towards you, yes. But there is hope, there is light. Na ni wewe pekee ndio unaweza make a difference in your life. Hakuna kutumianga kisiri hadi mwisho. Hata siku za mwezi ni 44. The 40th day lazima itafika siku moja na itadhihirika. But while you're going through it hata kisiri, purpose to look for help, it's very difficult for you to beat addiction by yourself until you come out and accept, yes, I am. You see, like for us who are in recovery, we have sponsors, we have mentors, we have, a support structure. People you can run to, people you can call. And sometimes this support structure is not in church. And most of the churches, they don't have this support structure. And people, watu wenye wako high class, unajua? Watu wako nayo, you have everything. And most of these people, they have everything, but they're not really happy. Where is this happiness found? It's just within you. Ni wewe kuiactivate by being real and being truthful with yourself. For believers, kuenda heaven kuko. But the same Bible says you must work your faith. Faith without works is dead. So even as you believe you can beat this thing, work on it. How do you work? Seek help. Yeah. So nothing is impossible. I can encourage somebody out there. Nothing is impossible. If you trust in God, if you put your faith in Him, He can help you conquer anything, and you can beat it.
What we do basically is to ensure that for any patient or persons coming to us to seek treatment in mental health or maybe in addiction, you know, to say so, that we are able to do the screening, proper screening that is provided for according to the standards of the mental health, to ensure that we don't miss on what any other condition these people might be presenting with, you know, because like I said, sometimes you get that this problem, the addiction problem, you know, it cohabits with a mental problem for that matter. And you'll find a lot in most cases that a lot of people out there, you know, even those that we know ourselves, you know, even those who are not on treatment, that in most cases they tend to have a depression, and then on top of it, you know, they go drinking, you know. So at the end of the day, this person will end up with a depression, and then on the course of being depressed, they will add an addiction on top of it, you know. So that is to mean that when this person now is coming to us, they will come to us probably thinking that they have a drinking problem. But what you'll find is that the drinking problem actually was enhanced, or it was precipitated by the underlying depression that they had, you know. And this is very common actually, you know, with most of the patients, you know. For example, if because you see all these diseases, we say they are genetic by nature, be it mental health issues, be it addiction problem, these are diseases that are genetic by nature, you know, most of them. So what happens is that maybe if I'm born in that family where I'm predisposed to developing a mental problem by virtue of genetics, then it means that I might grow with that problem without me realizing, you know. And over time, if, for example, I have been experiencing low mood since birth, and you know, or growing up, you know, I'm disinterested with most people or most things that happen, or I don't find pleasure in activities and so forth, you know, because those are some of the signs that show somebody has probably an underlying mental problem. You know, you lack pleasure in activities, you probably experience low mood most of the time, or a better part of the day, you know. You're not able to like initiate activities, you know, the way you know, a normal person will be motivated to start an activity and carry it on and so forth, you know. So that's why it's very important for us, and from experience, that we try to incorporate both of the issues together so that we can solve them. Because if you clear one and you don't clear the other one, if you don't deal with the mental problem, then you come and think that you are trying to solve addiction for this person, then you might not go anywhere with that person, you know, because we say, you know, there is no health without mental health. Mental health is key. That is what will facilitate you, you know, your thinking, your rational thinking. That is what will ensure that, you know, you can be able to go back to your activities, reason well, relate well with the people, you know, you don't isolate from people, you don't feel low, and so forth. So the manner in which we do it probably is that once we identify that we have an underlying mental problem, you know, we work with experts, we work with psychiatrists, you know, that we ensure that these people, if they have to be put on treatment, then they are put in the right treatment, and they are able to get out of the underlying issue, and now they are able to cope, living a normal life like anyone else, out there. So it's something that is very, very important for all the treatment, the treatment that we do for addiction.
Yeah, I mean, NACAD have done well. Relatively, they're still a new organization. So, I mean, they've been around only for the last 20 years, and they've done a lot in terms of helping even us, professionalize what we do, and addiction therapy, I think, like I say, if we could just step up on the prevention aspect in the schools, whether it could be part of the curriculum, the 844 curriculum, there should be a lot more focus, I think, on that, because like I say, if you can prevent someone getting into this problem, through education, then you're going to save a lot of people going down that route. I think also, a lot of this alcohol that we find today is not fit for consumption. So there should be more of a crackdown on people who are producing alcohol that's not fit for human consumption. There should be a certain standard, which I believe there is, but then it should be enforced. That, people who are producing alcohol, it should be to a certain standard. There's a lot of alcohol, I think, that's produced in society that's not fit for human consumption.
Kenya government is a member state of the UN conventions, and we agree and accept that we need to make treatment and rehabilitation accessible and affordable for all citizens in our country. And what we are doing as NACAD, and I said NACAD is national government, that's government. What government is doing, we are partnering with county governments, encouraging them to use some of the money they raise from liquor licensing to establish rehabilitation facilities at the county levels, which would be public facilities, affordable to the common mwananchi. Like you said, most rehabs charge not less than 30,000 per month. So if I'm in a rehab for 3 months, I'm paying 90,000 Kenyan shillings. How many Kenyans would afford that? So the government of Kenya is aware, and currently we have partnered with 12 counties to establish those rehabilitation centers, and I am very happy and proud of some of these counties like Kwale, Nyeri County, we have Mombasa, we have Lamu, we have Kakamega, Kisumu. At Kodiaga prison, we just finished establishing a rehabilitation facility. We have partnered with Nakuru PCA Church and established a rehab there. Currently, we are implementing a presidential directive at Mombasa, Miritini. The former NYS is now currently a national rehabilitation center. And this is in the effort to make rehabilitation accessible and affordable. And other than being expensive, I would also want to say that to call upon my fellow Kenyans, just say that if you have a child that is struggling from addiction, please call 1192. You will be guided on available interventions. Do not shy away from talking about it, because I know so many Kenyans, especially we who are in the religion, we feel like our children are bewitched, or it is a shame to talk about a child or a spouse or a relative who is struggling from addiction. I'm calling upon all of you. Addiction is a disease. Please, let's seek help for people who are suffering from addiction. There is available intervention. You don't have to be in an inpatient program. We will be rolling out community-based rehabilitation facilities to make citizens access these programs at the comfort of their homes, so that there's also that easy reintegration in the community and in the family. I get out of my home in the morning, I attend my sessions and go back home where I can get that family support. Faith-based organizations are a key stakeholders in the campaign against alcohol and drug abuse, because these are the institutions that teach values. These are the institutions that teach morals. So we are working very closely, especially with the Seventh-day Adventist, ACK, Methodist Church, by even sensitizing and educating, providing psychoeducation to the church leaders on their role in the campaign of alcohol and drug abuse. NACAD has only 100 staff to serve the whole nation. We cannot do it on our own. So we work with the churches, we work with the mosques, the sheikhs, and we just sensitize them on their role in this campaign, so that what they can do, they will do. What they can't do, they will let us know, and we can intervene where possible, as much as possible.
You should never kill relationships zimekuwa nazo. And maintaining healthy relationships needs work. Yeah? Ni input. Lazima ukuwe mtu wa kuweka. Sikuange tu mtu wa kureceive. Nimerealize relationship zangu mob nilivua kwa sababu nilikuwa mtu wa kuchukua. Lakini sipeani. Yeah? So look for those relationships that are healthy. Maintain them. Work on them. Another lesson is company. Whom are you keeping around you? Yeah. Ukiweka wasi wa world kwa your best friends, then you'll just become so world. Yeah. That's maybe for the young guys who are growing up and coming up. Peer pressure is real. Sio ni story tu tunasikiaga. Time zake ujuangi kama ni hawa na make your decision for you, ama ni wewe una make your decision. But most of the time, subconsciously, most of our friends decide on what we are or what we become. So knowing your identity ukiwa mdogo bado, and maintaining your identity, I think ni important sana kwa life. Focusing on yourself as an individual. Hii life mazee sio life ya buda wako ama madhe. Hii life ni yako. It gets to a point lazima tu wewe mwenyewe you pick yourself up and start doing things for yourself. God atuleta huku na purpose. So the earlier you realize your purpose na you go for it, I think the more you become focused to catapult yourself into the next level of your life, other than you're going with the wind. Connecting it to a tough love, ambayo many parents hawajapatia watoi wao. Na kitu hata tunaiona sasa in many rehabs. Whereby unaona mtu huyu akona weakness kwa area fulani, lakini hawezi mhelp na come out. Wao wanazidi kumpampa. Me it took time kubreak shell ya najele mapenzi ya wazazi. Yeah, the tough love ili delay. So nikapitia through a lot. Because I thought we had it. I thought kuna pesa tu tuende uvune. Yeah, so at the end of the day, life in a boil as the choices we make as an individual. Nataka kuwa nini, nataka kufanya nini. Ni mimi pekee ndaamua. Hakuna mtu mwingine ananiamulia hiyo. So over the past years that I've been in addiction, I think I always made wrong choices. But when you start making right choices and following them, vitu zina flow. Na life ina turn around. Yeah. But najua scripture yasemaga mahali, seek ye first the kingdom of God. Na hivi vitu zingine zote zitakam. The higher power works. God yuko, God will work. Na ukimseek with diligence, he will perform in your life. He turns you around. Yeah. No matter how low you've gone, he'll get you places you've never been. Yeah. I'm happy because many of my pastor friends ni watu wamepitia karibu ka story yangu. So I have hope at the end of the day that things are getting better. Yeah. I'm glad that I'm sober, and I'm glad that I'm becoming a better man for a better tomorrow.
To the society out there, I know for a long time we've been judging these people. You know, when we find them in the street drinking, you know, when we get them or we meet on the way, they abuse us or they behave in unjust way according to the society norms and so forth, you know, and that we feel like maybe they are wronging us and so forth, yeah. This is the reality. Statistically, at least every home, they have a problem of their own. Whether it's addiction, whether it's a mental health issue. And it is our responsibility for those people who are not affected by mental health, for those people who are not affected by addiction. It is our responsibility to take care of those people who we know are getting towards that side, you know. It's good to take the action as early as possible because the help is out here. We've helped a lot of people. We continue to help a lot of people. There are facilities like this one we are in, you know, that will take care of our sons, our daughters, our brothers and sisters, even our parents, you know. Those people who are suffering from the addiction or mental health problem. So let us not discriminate these people. Let us not judge them. Let us not think that they're enjoying what they're doing. Because I'll tell you for free, most of these people actually who are even drinking, they start as a social drinker, but at the end of the day, this person get themselves in a point where they cannot get themselves out, you know. So the only option left for them is to continue drinking. So if they don't get the right help, which of course is going through a treatment or a program like the one we offer, then at the end of the day you might lose the person that you so love, you know. So let us take out as our responsibility. I know it's not easy, but the reality of the matter is I don't think there anybody who would drink themselves to death and they actually know they're dying. That is a sick person. That is an infected brain. And on mental health is becoming a major issue now. And I know that we've been avoiding these conversations for a long time. But now it's about time that we come out and pronounce it as a problem, whether it's discovered or not discovered. But the reality of the matter, most of us are getting depressed. Most of us are developing all types of mental problems. And we run to drinking, we run to using substances and so forth. But we don't address the problem. If you are depressed, seek for assistance. The assistance is here. We have all the solution to your problems, you know. We will help you throughout, and you are not alone. I can tell you for free, there are so many people who seek treatment without the knowledge of the society and so forth, you know. So if you are left, you are the one left. Don't be afraid to be branded. I know most people are afraid to be branded like you know you are mentally sick and that you know you should not have an opinion and so forth. A lot of people who live with these diseases, it is not the word of the road. As long as you get your condition managed by a profession, that is my call for the people and the society out there. Let us support mental health issues. Let us support our brothers who are suffering from addiction because that is the call of the day. I appreciate so much for anyone else who've been putting out their help to get the right treatment for their people. Keep on doing this. We can never give up on anyone.
Every time nilikuwa sema unatana against his will. Najua unataka kufanya mambo yako. But I think kila mtu ndani yetu tunakuwa na ile voice ya God ina speak to us. Yeah. Steve, umeacha pombe. Now I want you to do this. I believe in spiritual authority speaking into our lives. When I am serving, I become very stable and my life picks up and things just start working. Alafu niki turn away, life yangu ina shamble tu hivyo. So after my last rehab, I told it was a faith-based rehabilitation. So I decided to go back to school na nifanye theology. And after that nikaanza kuserve in a church around here. in Nairobi. But basically, I was serving in the worship, in the music ministry as a worship pastor. And that's how I call myself a pastor. And most of these people, they have everything, but they're not really happy. Where is this happiness found? It's just within you.
They're trying to see how we can work very closely.
We can be reached on my number 0726 552 476.